Hi guys, thank you for tuning in for today's video. My name is Judy, aka Treasure Trunk. And the other day I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I do a video of all the steps that I have done so far and call it a beginner guide to budgeting, doing step by step using real numbers, my real numbers, and how I got to this point in one video. Okay guys, I'm super excited to do this video. Can't wait. Let's do step one. The step one is finding out your why. Why you went to YouTube and Google how to budget for beginners. Well, you're right here in the right spot. And the first thing is you already identify why. You realize that you can't be living check by check. Something is going on with your budgeting. And you say, Judy, I never budget. Yes, you have. If you work and receive income and you have bills, some way, somewhere, you are budgeting. It's just that you say, okay, this check, I have to pay the rent. I have to put $300 aside for the rent next month. You were budgeting. You were budgeting all along. What is the second step that I made? The second step is I tracked. I tracked my spending and I wrote it down. I wrote it down. My spending categories. What is category? A category is an item that you constantly use. That's what I did. I tracked my November. And once I tracked my November, I realized there's a pattern. There's a pattern. So I pay my debt. I go out to eat. I have gas. I have my kids. I have travel. I have spending. And then I have Amazon. So all these patterns are categories. And what I did was I wrote it down on the second page. Start my tracking for the first of the month to the end of the month. Sometimes I end on the 27th, the 28th of the month because I am starting my budgeting for the next month. As you can see, I tally everything and I make sure that I'm close to the numbers, and you tally. And I was like, oh my goodness, I spend this much in debt. Oh my goodness, I spend this much eating out. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I like to say, oh my goodness. So here you are, you tracking your expenses. I write them down for me. So you have to work what works for you. For me, I'm a visual person. I'm a visual person. That means I need to see it. I need to write it. I need to smell the ink. I have to. That's the only way I can improve my budgeting. Okay. So once you have your category for this example, November, I started doing my categories. Yes, I use my categories. And let's say you don't have the highlighter. As you can see in November, I didn't have any highlighters. I didn't highlight them. I left it blank because I realized I was going one by one. So I found out later on highlighting them is quicker and it's easier for me. So going to the categories, I realized this is my habits. These are my repeat items. So I wrote it down. And if you've been watching my videos, taxes is something is killing me. And then insurance was right there. So I put debt, taxes, and insurance in one box. And then you do the same thing for the rest. You'll say, okay, Amazon. What do you spend in Amazon? For me, I shop in Amazon. And I have to control that. So there's a way, everybody has different ways. So more later on with that one. So you write your categories. So now you're tracking your spending. From your tracking of your spending, you determine your categories. And after that, after you have your categories, step 3 is to determine what are your goals. What are your financial goals? As you can see here, my financial goals is to get rid of debt. I have no life paying the bank interest. Okay, so I put my goals there. In this particular book, I'm using the Budget Mom, but you don't have to use that Budget Mom. You can use a notebook, a regular notebook. Here, I bought one because I realized you don't need the Budget Mom, but you could do it this. So what I have planned is, I'm gonna say Beginner's Guide Budgeting 101 using this one. Of course, I'm, a hybrid with the Budget Mom for those who cannot buy the Budget Mom book. But the thing is, she has free resources. Okay, so stay tuned. If you have not subscribed, do so now, please. If you have not subscribed, please do so. You will be notified when I upload another video. Thank you, and put a like in this video if you really like and enjoy my personality. It helps me. You know the deal. It will help me in the future to pay all these bills. Okay, step 4, you need to determine your bills. Okay, determine your bills. So sometimes we use the calendar. Let's say you get paid the 1st of the month and you have bills coming on the 6th of the 5th. It's nice to use the calendar because you will write it down in the calendar. Okay, my Discover bill is coming through, so I have to set aside, and then you start budgeting, put money aside. So you determine what are your bills. Step 4, you determine what your variable bills. What are your variable? You see that your bills it comes on the 1st or the 15th, however, that does not change. But variable expenses does. Sometimes, let's say for instance, gas is one of the categories. I put that as a variable. For example, if you work from home, you're not going out. So maybe if you're a weekly budgeter or bi-weekly budgeter and you put variable gas, but you're home for 2 weeks, you didn't go out, you didn't put gas. Gas is what? Every 5 days I put gas, depending on your route. Then that week I didn't use money for gas, And then you have to determine what method you're going to use your spending. Some people, like I'm a cashless budgeter. I've been doing it for many years. The thing is I had to step up because it wasn't working. You have to work your budgeting according to you, whatever makes you best. Maybe you're not the type of person that wants to go to the bank all the time. I didn't. I was really lazy, but now I want to get rid of it. So I'm doing a little bit more effort and I'm doing the cash method. Okay. So stay tuned for how I'm starting as the first time as a cash budgeter, how I'm going to set up my binders coming soon. Okay. So step 5 is determine how you're going to do. Are you going to be cashless or cash? It works the same way. You've been doing it all this time cashless, so it works. You just have to budget. You have to determine, okay, gas, $40 a week. That's it. Do you really need to go out? That's what I'm saying to myself. Do I really need to spend gas? I'm not being cheap. I'm just being realistic. Because if I put my money in certain category, that's less for me in Amazon. That's how I'm playing. I cannot be living check by check. Something has to change. Okay. So tip 5, decide. Okay. Tip 6 is prioritize your goals. Yes. Because now you're budgeting, now you have your categories, now you determine you're going to be cash or cashless. Now you have to prioritize. You need to determine what are your goals. My tip for you all, stick with 3. I know that you could be 6 or 10 goals, but in the beginning, if you're stuck like me, and I'm showing you my numbers, I am stuck. I'm going to show you how I'm going to get unstuck. Remember, on my first video, I did mention I have done this before. Actually, this is my 7th time that I get myself out of debt. So I come from experience. And I decided to put it in YouTube. Yeah, because I was thinking about my boy, but stick to 3 in the beginning. In the beginning, just stick with 3. My goal number 1 is being debt free. Goal number 2, increasing my buffer. Right now, it's every like $20 at the end of the month. I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable. I cannot sleep because I'm like, oh my God, I've got $20. Something emergency comes and I don't have. And number 3, my 3rd savings goal is savings. Okay, so I have other videos explaining my goals and financial savings. So if you have not, those are great in detail from the beginning to the end. Okay, step number 7, create a debt plan. Okay, I know I said at number 6, prioritize your savings goals. Step number 7, create a plan to target your debt. And you'll see my real numbers here. This is my debt. This is where I'm coming from. And these are the goals that I will tackle them. Okay? Budget. You have to be realistic. I did that. I want to be like A to Z. I want to do it, crush it, hit it by 2x4. But I realized that I have to be realistic. I need to keep with the budget that makes sense. In the beginning, you can plan it, but then you can adjust it. It's whatever works for you. Okay, so I had to adjust my numbers. I have to adjust my numbers. So those are the steps. These are the steps that I have taken, and I'm just gonna review them one more time. Goal number 1, determine your why. Why you clicked how to budget as a beginner in YouTube. You have to determine there was a reason why you did that. Okay, maybe to better your budgeting. I did it, and here I am. I did it and I got better. I was always budgeting. I always done it, but I never wrote it down. I just want to write it down to be more specific. What are my habits? Step number 2, you need to track your habits. What are you spending on? Why is like you get paid on Monday and then by Wednesday you don't have money? You need to figure it out. What is triggering it? To figure it out. What are your triggers? Track your spending. Step number 3, when you write the things, you will see a pattern. You will see where your money is going. Gas, food, rent, spending, Amazon, dating. Maybe you have to cut dating. Maybe you have to be more unique on dating. Maybe not spending that much. Like for instance, I go to the movies on Tuesday because it's $5 versus 12. Example like that. Once you have your patterns in your categories, set aside your categories. Maybe, but I got my fundamental categories. Maybe I should save for these in the future, like vacation. It's not going to be your monthly, but maybe you have medical, co-payments, clothing. You know, those are categories that you probably want to save in the future. Step 4, I keep forgetting 2 and 4. I'm sorry. Step 4 is determine what are your bills. Your bills are standard. Your standard bills versus your variable bills. Okay, when you establish your bills, those goes in your calendar. That's step 6. Establish a calendar. Write it down in the calendar. You get paid, put your payday, and put all your standard bills. Those are monthly bills. It comes and goes. You have money or not, those have to get paid. Okay, those are your establishing your bills. Second, you have to establish your variable bills, expenses, okay, for your categories. So step 7, create a debt plan and a savings plan, okay? Prioritize your goals. Don't make 6 or 10, it's too soon. Just master the fundamental. What are your goals right now? Get rid of debt, increase your buffer, and increase your savings. Those are the 3 emergency. After that, you have subcategories: vacation, medical, gas, so forth. But in the beginning, you need to establish those. For example, for me, those realistic budget, okay? Let's just be realistic. That's what I did. I realized that, oh my God, my income can't even cover the minimum of all my bills, okay, let alone my variable expenses. And when I did that, I realized I was going in circles like a little rabbit in the circle, and I was always in debt, always in debt, always in debt, because I wasn't budgeting enough for my variables. Gas, I have to move. If I have to go to work, I have to move. I have to pick up my son, I have to move. So I would use a credit card, and it was a cycle. I would never come out of it. Okay, so do realistic budgeting, and then you can get good at it. Okay, so those are the steps. These are the steps that I have taken. Be good, be kind, be generous, have fun. Bye.